See.
Awesome.
All right. So good morning, guys. This is Dr. Jenny, physical therapist, geriatric clinical specialist, and certified exercise expert in aging adults. Today, for our thanks God, it's Thursday, another innovator, and we have in the thanks God it's Thursdays, guys. We always interviewed academicians, physical therapists, and now we have wonderful innovators. They share different kinds of technology that will benefit us therapists. So the in the balance and pulse support group, we are mixed clinicians, therapists, physical or occupational therapists. We even have speech dietitians, and we have now different technologies being shared. So I was really grateful to present to you, and very it's my opportunity to meet Veena Somareddy. She's the chief technical officer, and she's a virtual reality expert. Imagine that, guys. So, Veena Somareddy is an experienced chief technology officer with demonstrated history of working in computer software industry. She is the co-founder and CTO at Neuro Rehab Virtual Reality, and it is a virtual reality healthcare startup aimed at building virtual and augmented reality training exercises for our patients. So, especially with neurological disorders. So, using her many years of research and development in virtual reality, she was able to help connect technology and healthcare to enhance patient care and rehab outcomes greatly. So, that's really wonderful, Vina. That's awesome. She has a bachelor in science and computer science and a master's in game designs and development from University of Texas, Dallas. So wow. And she is the chapter president for the Virtual Reality and Association in Dallas and the co-organizer of the Women in Virtual Reality Dallas chapter. So she did mentorship and she built these talented individuals. So now the Neuro Rehab virtual reality will going to explain to us how does it helps us therapists and especially our patients, and that will be great and amazing. So Vina, thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. And I'm so grateful I met you. And tell us more about yourself, what I miss. And our listeners will be clinicians, and some are caregivers, some are even students. So, welcome to Balance and Pulse Support Group and Fishigen PT and Wellness Podcast.
Thank you. Oh, thank you for having me, and really nice to meet you too. And I'm glad we met. And like you said, I would like to talk about how virtual reality would help physical therapists, occupational therapists, and what we are trying to do is provide a new tool for therapists that they can help with reaching their patients' goals. To give you a little bit of an overview, let me share my screen. As you mentioned, what we are trying to do is help millions of people after a neurological incident like a stroke, spinal cord injury, or maybe Parkinson's or MS are the patients that we mostly work with. We're also starting to work with orthopedic patients right now. So, helping them with their physical therapy and occupational therapy. I can go into a video in a little bit, but to give you a quick overview, with all of these patients, as you know, as a physical therapist and occupational therapist, most of the time it's mostly getting back for the patients to be able to do everyday living things and being independent. So you're working on their balance, you're working on gait training, ambulation, you're working on their flexion, extension. And what we do is we create virtual reality therapy exercises for each of these scenarios. And so that the patients can be challenged, motivated, engaged during their therapy, and are able to reach that goals.
Wow. Mhm.
Here's a little video. When we started to work in a neurological recovery center, so where we saw all of these patients, and they started to use virtual reality as a modality for them. to keep them, like you said, they're happy. They're when they're doing therapy, they keep coming back because once they're having fun while doing therapy right now instead of being a drag. And the best part about this is, as a physical therapist, you would know repetition is really, really important, and also increasing intensity and challenge as the patient is getting better. So that's something that you can do with our system. You can change the intensity or decrease the intensity of the therapy depending on how the patient is doing. Uh, and in the beginning, one of the challenges that we ran into is for a lot of these patients, we saw patients with brain injury, spinal cord injury, Parkinson's, and each of them had very different functional abilities and goals, as you know, because each therapist works with various patients. So we had to build a system that would work for everybody that comes into a physical therapy clinic or an occupational therapy clinic. And that was a big challenge for us, but it's been a few years since we've been around. So we were able to build this whole suite of applications that anybody can use.
Oh, that's really good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can go on, but do you have any
Mm-hmm.
questions?
Yeah, that's really amazing. Just go on and then we can check it as later. That's really good. We should even
Okay.
do this live because some of them will ask some questions. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So just to wrap up the about what virtual reality we do. So we came out with a new system, a fully wireless and portable system last year. So now at this point, you can even take the therapy home. You can take it to the home if you're a therapist that works with patients at home. You can take it with you, or even send the headset home with your patients so they can continue their therapy at home. So it's fully scalable, it's affordable. The only thing you have is the headset and the controllers, and if you see a tablet in his hand. With that tablet, you can launch all the applications inside the inside the headset. You can see what the patient is doing and also increase or decrease the intensity, and the therapist there has full control on that patient experience. And that's something that was very important for us and important for the therapist that we're working with, so that you're not blinded by, a person puts on the headset, you have no clue what's happening inside. We didn't want that. So that was something that we put a lot of effort into. And if we also have a lot of research papers on our website, we'll link to that after the call. But gamified therapy is shown to be really effective for physical therapy and cognitive training. And also, as I said, our whole point was we want to provide a new tool that physical therapists can use with their patients and to reach their goals. And we have had a lot of amazing anecdotes where people come back to us, especially physical therapists, and say they've been able to do something with their patient that they've not been able to do before without virtual reality. One example is we had one therapist say that they were trying to work on the cervical range of motion for this one patient, and she's been trying it to work on it without the virtual reality headset. And as soon as she put the headset on, they were able to actually do that cervical range of motion that they're really afraid of, because now they're concentrated on the exercise that they're doing inside the headset and the game that they're playing, and they forget about what they cannot do. They forget about the inhibitions that they have. And we've seen that happen with many patients, especially older patients. They're used to thinking this is how much I can flex my hand, this is how much I can extend my hand, or are afraid to bend forward from their wheelchair, when we've seen them just do it after they put on the headset, because they don't have that reference point as to what they cannot do in in real life. When they put on the headset, their hands look like avatars or something else, and it's amazing. And I'm not sure where all of your physical therapists are. If they're in the US, it's being reimbursed by insurance, the therapy itself. And then we've built a very HIPAA compliant platform so that all the patient data is secure. And coming back to the data a little bit, we can collect data such as range of motion data, lateral shifts, movements, and any kind of kinematic data, and also data inside the application itself. For example, if you're working on an ambulation gait training app, you can record data such as distance traveled, the amount of time they spent in it. So that feedback is very good for patients.
Really good. All right, that's amazing, Vina. It's my I we know already some of the virtual rehab that we have also, but it's in the market. But this one exactly can be applied for our clients for a therapy purposes. In what it's not really like straightforward whatever we have in the market like the games, but that you
Right, right.
really incorporated it here, that you I like the term gamified therapy, the
Mhm.
kinetic rehab that they do it in, they also do that. So this is really wonderful. It's very portable, I can see. Go ahead. If you have more, I'm really,
Sure.
really interested. And I'm sure this is awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, just to recap, why people like this is it's fun and it's engaging. You can transport people to a sandy beach or the mountains or even space or the grocery store, depending where the patient wants to be, and do their therapy there because instead of being in, just white walls around that they're used to. So when you put them in scenarios like this, they're just much more focused on their therapy. They're not trying to get out of it. They're enjoying the scenario, and that's what makes it more fun and engaging for our patients, and that's one of the reasons they keep coming back. And like I said, the motivation is there because if it's gamified, sometimes they're challenged, they want to get to a certain score, and they want to beat their previous score. So you'll get that motivation intrinsically from the patient versus, a lot of time the physical therapists have to push the patient to, complete their task. So now when it's coming intrinsically from the patient, they're motivated to keep going, and it makes a therapist's life much easier. Here is a little video I can show you. Can you hear the sound from the video? Okay, let me do that.
And hear the sound. Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah. Okay, what about now?
Accomplish her with
Yes.
this game.
Okay,
I can hear it.
The teacher's here
cool.
working on the game Foul Play. What we're trying to accomplish her with this game is her sequencing and purposeful coordination of her movements. We're also working on her dynamic standing balance, her weight shifting abilities, range of motion throughout her legs, as well as improving trunk mobility. Um, Lots of good things going on with this game for her.
So as you see from the video, she's working on repetition, she's working on lateral shift, she's working on dynamic movement, and that's helping with her balance. And there's so many things that you can do with one application itself. And because you can customize it, let me play that again.
So Deidre's here working on the game Foul Play. What we're trying to accomplish her with this game.
Okay, now, yeah, because you can customize it, you can change the intensity. You can change the intensity so that she has to move faster, or you can slow down the intensity so it's like much smaller movements. And also, a lot of our patients work on squats. So if you have pediatric patients and you're trying to get squats out of them, it's very, very hard. So with this, you can make them, do 15 squats, or you can get that repetition really well out of them. And this all comes back to neuroplastic principles, right? Mass practice, you're getting more dosage because they're staying in therapy for longer amounts of time, and their structured practice, depending on you as a therapist decide what to do with the game. So we never usually tell the therapist what they have to do. We just give you this tool. We can give you recommendations on how to do it, and we have seen our therapists do such creative things with it that we as the developers of the system would have never thought about. And then multisensory stimulation is another neuroplastic principle. So with this, you're getting visual feedback, you're getting sound feedback, and some of our applications, when you're holding the controllers, it vibrates. So there is haptic feedback, which is amazing for a lot of patients, getting that proprioception as to where the hand is in space. For TBI patients, spinal cord injury patients, they need that feeling of proprioception. And increasing difficulty is another principle. And with this, you can, depending on how they're doing, you can keep increasing the difficulty and the intensity for the patient. See, go to the next one.
That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I like
as
that.
you see, as physical therapists, one thing that you're working is, going back and doing things in real life. For a
Mhm.
lot of our patients, it was actually one of our game was built because one of our patients wanted to be able to go grocery shopping back with her grandkids after her
Uh-huh.
stroke injury. That was her goal, and that's why she was working on therapy. So there is transfer of skills. So instead of, we have a lot of hospitals that recreate a grocery shopping store or create a kitchen in their clinic. These are big hospitals that have the money to do it, but not everybody does. But in virtual
Okay.
reality, you can create that virtual grocery shopping scenario. You have to like pick up items from the shelf, put it in a cart, pay for your groceries, and then you
Yes.
have that auditory stimulation of being a grocery store, a lot of people talking and things like
Oh,
that, especially
wow.
for, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for our TBI patients, depending on which part of the brain that was affected, they might need that, get used to that stimulation again, right?
Okay.
So
Yes,
there's
correct.
Mhm. So there's really good transfer of skills. Now they're done this exercises in a safe environment, that the grocery store, now they can go back to the real store and be able to do that. So we've had testimonials of our patients. We had one spinal cord injury patient who was, he just wanted to be independent after his injury, and he was working a lot of gait training and also upper extremity training with our applications. And one day he came back and told us for the first time in his life, he was able to pick up items from the pantry and put them back, and pick up items from the refrigerator and put them back, because he practiced how to bend, how to pick up, and how to place things back in the virtual world when using our app.
Wow, this is really amazing. And that's always our goals, right? Every time we
Right.
see clients, what's your goal? I want to do this. I want to go back to my previous level of function.
Mhm.
I want to carry my grandkids. I want to go back to work. And these are all transfer of skills. And that
Exactly.
this is amazing. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let's see. I can give you a quick example. One of our patients, stroke, left CBA. She, before VR integration, this is when you're talking about goals, these were some of the goals for the patient. She was able to hold her balance for 60 seconds with her eyes open, and approximately only 30 seconds with her eyes closed. And the Berg balance score, I'm sure you know about it, was 30 by 56. And one of her goals was to unscrew 5 screws in less than 5 minutes. That was one of her goals. So after post VR integration and her, just a few months of using VR, and it's not even just, just 20 minutes every session, she was able to hold a balance for 2 minutes, eyes open, and 60 seconds with her eyes closed, and her Berg balance score increased, as a balance group. You definitely, this is really good for working on a person's balance, and achieved her.
I lost you, Rina.
Goal of unscrewing 5 screws. This particular patient was, what about now? Am I back?
Yes, yes, you're back. Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay, cool. I think it's the internet. So one of her goals was unscrewing 5 screws, and she was able to do it after the integration of VR. And this particular patient also had a lot of tremors, and that intentional tremors. So when she's trying to do something, her hand shakes. But in VR, we were able to do like big motions with her, and we used to see her tremors decrease by the end of like 5 minute session, and that there was retention after that too. So it's really good for Parkinson's patients when you're trying to uh, keep your functionality working on your upper extremity or even lower extremity training.
Wow, that's really good. Mm-hmm. Especially tremors, that's really challenging, not only for CVA, that's especially for Parkinson's. Okay, this is a new case.
Exactly. This is another case I can talk about it. This person, undiagnosed spinocerebral disorder. She's been living with it for a really long time. The onset was 1991, and she came into therapy with us. I think in 2018 she started. At the end of 2017, she began VR integration in 2018. So ataxic gait and movement. So we had to work on a lot of movement. Coordination was something that she wanted to work on. Her goals again was standing, dynamic balance. She wanted to be able to walk longer distance of time, fine motor control, and the SARA score is mostly for a cerebral ataxia. So we started, so depending on their goal, what we usually do is we match them with a certain exercise that we have built. So for her, it was rhythmic, dynamic balance exercises, because she wanted to work on ambulation, coordination, functional, and then functional breathing, and also again standing balance. So for her, she, sometimes VR integration also depends on the patient. She was very, very motivated patient and she loved VR. So she did more amounts of VR when she came in than other patients did. So you will see her gains are a lot more because of that. So it also depends on the patient. So pre-VR integration, when her assessment happened, her SARA score was 20. She was able to walk 30 feet with an assistive device, and her standing balance was less than 30 seconds, which is pretty low. And she had the same goal of unscrewing 5 screws in 5 minutes. And post VR integration, SARA score was 14. She was able to walk 210 feet, ambulation, which is a huge difference between a 30 and a 210. And then she was able to now stand on her own for 2 minutes, 30 seconds balance time, which is again a big increase from the 30 seconds. And she was able to unscrew those 5 screws pretty easily. She had, yeah, a lot of gains.
Yes, that's a lot of gains. And then
Mhm.
she's able to, the important here that you're improving already and you're enjoying at the same time, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you're having fun. That's why she kept coming back. She was like, I'm
Uh-huh.
having fun doing this. I'm going to keep doing. And that all of that led to her, all the gains that she had.
Yeah. Is she in outpatient when she's doing this? Or
Yeah.
these are in
Mhm.
the clinic, in the neuro rehab clinic?
Yes. So we work with in lots of hospitals and clinics across the US, and we have a partner clinic that we started in where we were incubated. So that's where it's an outpatient clinic, but our applications work for both inpatient and outpatient rehab.
Right, awesome. Go ahead.
See what my next slide is. Uh, I guess I think I'm good right here. Those are
Okay.
the only slides I had, but I
All
can
right.
talk a little bit about the ones that are my slides are not talking about is a few more neuroplastic principles that we follow and
Mhm.
how virtual writing would help. We spoke about mass practice, we spoke about dosage, we spoke about having a structured practice and a task-specific practice is another thing. So here creating those scenarios, very specific scenarios, grocery shopping, cooking, or putting on your shirt. We can create these specific tasks inside of VR, and so that they can work on that and they're able to go do it at home because you're still using all of your muscle movement, your fine motor skills to actually do those practices. And another principle is variable practice, being able to do different things at once. And we spoke about multisensory stimulation, increasing difficulty. And one that I've not spoken about is explicit and implicit feedback. And I'm sure as therapists, you're always giving feedback to the
Yes. Mhm.
patient while they're working on the therapy. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. What I'm thinking, Vina, you have a really wonderful, especially the effects and the mechanism of the effects of the neuro rehab itself. I would like you to present like live when we have some more therapists doing listening at the same time so they can ask more question on the spot,
Okay.
yeah, so that's what I'm thinking because it's really engaging. They really have I have already some question in mind and how about them, so I just
Okay.
want to invite you maybe again next time. We will going to serve you the whole 1 hour and then we'll put it live so that way
Okay.
if they have more questions. My questions here is more on how about like the payment? Is this, I see that Medicaid insurance coverage, how does it work? So for the
Sure.
client, how do you prescribe this and how does it been covered? I'm a home health therapist and mobile PT. So I
Mhm.
see that this is portable. I believe I can carry it whenever I do with my client. I'm
Yeah.
using an app and I'm using YouTube for my music. This is wonderful for my client base. So I would like to know more about that. So go ahead. I
Yeah.
know I have a questions. I have lots
Sure.
of questions there.
Okay, yeah. So for what we do is we look at ourselves as a software company that is creating these modalities. But right now we sell a lot to B2B, clinics and hospitals, and the insurance works the same way that it would normally for them. You do 15 minutes of therapy, you can bill for your muscular re-education, therapeutic activity, or if you do gait training or ambulation using our system, you can bill for that. So it works the same way. We start we uh, slowly started to do where we have physical therapists on our team and worked with a couple patients where we are able to just send the system home to the patient, create a therapy plan, and we've seen amazing gains even in that. So we've done that before, but we mostly work with clinics and hospitals. So in your case, you could be our customer too, where you can take one of our systems home to your patients.
Oh, yeah. So that's how it will be for the individual therapist. That's
Yeah.
really good.
Mhm.
And I think you say something that is it every visit that we will go, or the client can be a customer? You know,
Mhm.
they can buy their own headsets and the VR app, the
So
new rehab
yeah,
portable. Oh,
they can, but we right now we do not work with it directly with individual patients because you will still need a therapist supervision to create that plan for them and also make sure that they're doing the work. So we try to leave it to the clinicians to be able to do that.
yeah. And we have very challenging clients. Maybe I tried one of those, like an Oculus, just like for a Samsung. And then,
Mhm.
and the app, and I think the program is about, or the game is about the sea. And I'm so afraid already. And then the shark is coming. And so
Oh yeah, I've seen
I
that one.
just remove it. And then, so this is really, really good. So they need to have a caregiver around them, because they will be so take away with the
Yeah.
movement. They forgot that they're really unable
Mhm.
to do that too much. That's really good.
Yeah, even when you're at home, we recommend at least have one caregiver around you just to make sure that you're okay. Unless we have patients who are much more functional and they're more
Mm-hmm.
confident with what they're doing, then they're okay. But it's still always good to have a caregiver around. And when you come back to the shark, that's why you cannot really use commercially available applications for
Okay.
therapy. And that was the whole one. There's too much stimulation, there are
Mm-hmm.
sharks and things like that. That's why we build our own apps, which is very specific to therapy and make sure it's calming. The scenarios are calming. When you put it on, you actually feel good and your stress and anxiety goes down. Just our home screen it's very pretty mountains with a fox, so you can pet the fox if you would like. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there will be like games like guns and like
Hmm.
so I'm not doing that, but that's the only first game that I tried with when I have the free from my Samsung that time. And then I don't like I don't like to use
Right.
that. And I think that's the only free game that time. And
Hmm.
I don't know how to swim. And that's already I feel right that I'm really inside the ocean with this shark coming in. I will be
Right.
friends. And
It's
then
and
I
then
like
also you don't have control on over it about or the
oh
experience for the patients with the tablet. If
uh,
the patient gets overwhelmed, you can like quit the application for them.
oh
Yeah,
okay.
and so you because you're able to see everything that the patient is seeing in the tablet.
Okay, yeah, and the person behind me doesn't see what I'm seeing. That's
Mhm.
correct. That's really good. This is
Right.
an amazing technology, Vina. This is really awesome. I like the neurofeedback, the biofeedback itself, the proprioception when you're saying that there will be some hands and then what do you call it? Remotes that there.
The controllers the
The
controllers,
controller.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they
Okay.
vibrate
Okay,
when you're
okay.
holding in your hand. Yeah.
All right. That's
So
great.
when they vibrate, they vibrate whenever you pick up an item or you're interacting with animals maybe so that you actually feel it.
Mm-hmm. And the engram formation, the neuroplasticity, when you said repetition is the key,
Right.
and that's really good when they're standing, so that the therapist assistant is really awesome explaining it. Her dynamic balance, and she's doing squat and squat. She's doing lots of activity, neuro
Hmm.
and musculoskeletal balance, and I will just add maybe more on weights, wrist weights when she's doing those things, or ankle weights as needed for
You can,
resistance
yeah,
training.
exactly.
And you're doing lots of stuff already. So this is when did you begin doing this in the clients? I
Yeah,
heard about this, but I just get more on deeper right now.
yeah, definitely. So I started working on the company full time in 2018, and then we were FDA registered in 2019. So we got the systems out to the market at that point, and then we started to sell to across the US.
That's
And yeah,
wonderful. That's really awesome. And then is it first in where is it first been used? Which state? Is it in Texas?
Yeah, the Texas is first because that's where we started, but now we are in many states across the US. And the
Okay,
second one was Chicago, and if you want like a second location outside of where we were, yeah.
that's really good. I went to university for a neuro class in University of South in the Southwestern
Hmm.
school. Yeah. So there you
Oh,
have a wonderful rehab clinic, and then
okay.
also different technologies and different neuro rehab applications for the strokes. And then Kathy or Karen, Dr. Karen Kane is one of the instructor there. So that's really a wonderful also for the residents and every therapist.
Exactly. We some of our customers are also senior care centers. Well, because it applies because you want your seniors to be physically active, you want them to be
Mhm.
stimulated, and this would be another amazing modality for them too.
And what will be your challenges? Is this only for peds or geriatrics, or what's your
Yeah.
precautions for now? So these
Yeah,
are for both.
yep, exactly, for both. For virtual, there are a few contraindications for virtual reality itself, so I'll talk about that, and then we can talk about, yeah, who we work with. So for virtual reality, we do not let patients who have like a history of seizures, especially if that's by visual. Uh, uh, it happens because of vision. And then if they're prone to a lot of motion sickness, something that we don't let them use. But for seizures, if they've not had an incident in the last 5-10 years, we get approved by their doctor. Just tell them this is what's happening, and then if the doctor approves, you can still use VR with them and make sure it's safe. And for motion sickness, that's something that we really can't do much about. If it depends, always depends on the person. We have not had any incidents of motion sickness at least till now because we ask the patient to make sure that they're okay with it, and then we start with really calming scenarios where you don't have a lot of interaction, not a lot of stimuli. You just have to look around, and there's 3D scenarios, and then when they get used to that, then you kind of increase the intensity. Uh,
Okay.
Coming back to patients, we started to work with a lot of neuro patients in the beginning: stroke, spinal cord, Parkinson's, MS, and then a lot of kids with cerebral palsy. And then spinal cord injuries, ADHD also. And when it comes to kids with ADHD, our therapists love this system because now they can get their kids focused into what they're doing, because so we had some kids that get, just somebody walks by and they get distracted from the therapy, and now the
Mhm.
therapist had to bring them back into focus. So when you have the headset on, they have nothing else that they can see. They're really focused on what they're doing inside the system. And then so it was neurology, geriatric, pediatrics. We are also working with orthopedic patients now.
Wow.
And this was with the patients where we did a home therapy plan. That is, we sent a system home to the patient. They were able to use it. This particular patient, what happened was he injured his knee
Mhm.
doing where he fell on black ice and had broke parts of his tibia, and then had to get surgery. Once he was got his surgery, he had very little therapy because he didn't have insurance. And what used to happen to him is, one, he puts all of his weight on the non-affected leg, so he's always standing slanted, and then his flexion in his knees was really low, and he needed a cane or a device to be able to
Mhm.
walk inside his home.
Mhm.
So just with 2 weeks of intervention of using VR, this is only using VR, not normal traditional therapy at all. He started to be put his weight on the other leg and started to stand straight, which is amazing to see. And then also after another 2 weeks of VR, he started to walk around his home without any assistive device. And it was amazing to see all of these games, which says this particular patient just needed a good intervention, and then VR was a good tool for them. And now he's walking around in his home without any assistive device. It's amazing to
That's
see that
really
happen.
cool. That's really awesome. Yeah, you can really see the difference just right there and then, because it's
Mhm.
a combination of visual feedback, then the physical itself, and this is lots of interactions happening there. And I
Exactly.
totally agree that. So that's it. Because I'm a physical therapist, we have our own program. We can
Mhm.
decide what we want, but if we were going to apply this for more precautions, we can check with our doctor that we will going to use this. Is it okay for
Yes,
our clients? Okay, so we need a little
exactly.
bit of confirmation that he is okay with that. All right.
Especially for patients who have, history of seizures or a lot of motion
Okay.
sickness. I would not recommend using this with anybody who has motion sickness, but for seizures, get approval from the doctor.
Okay, so we need to check on that once we saw some history about that.
Mhm.
Okay, that's really amazing. I would like to learn more about that, and we would like to check on you again, Venus. So, right now, to our listeners and clinicians, so how can we connect with you, Vina?
Yeah, so you can connect with me through my email. Let me go back, share my screen. It's veena@neurorehabvr.com.
Okay,
And please also check out our website. It's easy, neurorehabvr.com. It's right here. And then, yeah, you can connect with me on LinkedIn page too. My
that's how
name.
we connect, right?
Yeah, I know. That's how we connected.
Yes, in LinkedIn. That's really amazing. Thank you so much, Vina. I really appreciate this. We learned a lot from you, and we're going to check more and learn more from you once
Awesome.
we have this one. All right. So, guys,
Awesome.
if you have any other questions, we can always connect with Vina. And so let me see how can I check my view. All right, here. Standard. Okay. See. Can you check Vina the gallery? Okay. All right.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
let me see.
So yeah, that's good. That's good.
Did
All
you
right,
get
guys.
it? Okay.
Yes, that works. So this is wonderful interview again, and we learned a lot from the Neuro Rehab virtual reality. I really believe in this, especially nowadays. We're gamifying, we're making everything fun for our clients,
Right.
not really bored, because especially in outpatient, you want them to come back. And it's not a repetition. We need to be ahead of the technology, and we would like to use technology in our advantage. And now we have this wonderful people and innovators helping us to be more effective to our clients and to be effective physical therapists. So thank you so much, guys. So it's me once again, Dr. Jenny, physical therapist and Dr. Physical Therapy. We have a wonderful interview with Veena Somareddy, and we will learn more about her. And we'll try to connect with her. We'll do a webinar that she will going to focus all the different benefits, so you will get more into it. If you have any questions, we'll try to make it live. So thank you once again, guys. And it's me, Dr. Jenny, user physical therapist and doctor physical therapist, geriatric clinical specialist, and certified exercise expert in aging adults. I'm your global health and aging therapist and special interest group vice chair for the Academy of Physical Therapy Association. So I hope you learned a lot today and we'll learn more. And thank you so much, Vina. So we appreciate your time and thank you so much, guys. Bye
Yeah.
for now. Connect with
Thank you for having me.
you are welcome. So connect with her YouTube website, Neuro Rehab VR, and also for our Christian PT and balance and pulse support group. By the way, guys, have a safe and God bless to all of you. Bye for now, guys. Thank you so much.